How's it going, everybody? I am back, and this is another discussion video, although it is not the discussion that I addressed, or that I said I would be talking about previously. I don't even remember what it was. I think it was something about, like, what do we believe is next? Or when did we think we would get the next Fallout, blah, 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 all that stuff. That was long before E3 or the tease for Fallout 76. So that is what I'm going to be talking about today. Just all Fallout 76 stuff. I scoured just everything that I could find. I pretty much just used interview of Pete Hines, Todd Howard, the Bethesda E3 conference, and the NoClip documentary on the making of Fallout 76 to get most of my information. But I have a lot of topics that I'm going to go through. So I'm going to try to get this over quickly. Hopefully it's not too long. So, first thing is, what is Fallout 76? So, Fallout 76 is the next game coming out in the Fallout series. It is a sequel, which is confirmed by Pete Hines in an interview after E3, and I'm going to leave links to all of my sources in the description. But Pete Hines confirmed that it is a sequel, although it is not Fallout 5. It's the earliest in the series, having take place almost 60 years prior to Fallout 1. Fallout 1 took place in 2161, Fallout 2 in 2241, Fallout 3, 2277, New Vegas, 2281, and Fallout 4, 2287. And the game is actually going to be the multiplayer design for Fallout 4. So when they made Fallout 4, they came up with the idea of, like, what if they added multiplayer, and this is what it grew into. So that is a huge deal. It's got multiplayer. It's entirely online, actually. There is solo play, which really just means alone and not single player. You can have up to 4 players on your team, and from what it sounds like on the NoClip documentary, it's going to be 24 player servers. They said 24 to 32, but they did say 3 times in the documentary 24 players. Or twice they said 24 players. The other time was when he said 24 to 32 players. They're going to have a beta coming out. Break it early test application, according to the E3 conference. So far, the only access is through pre-orders, and the code will be sent out at a later date. I actually emailed Bethesda customer support trying to get some information about when we would get those codes, and they had just told me that it would be after this is the worst pun in the world. They said after the fallout has settled from E3. That's awful. That was annoying. That's just one of the big things they said in the game. So in the trailer it says, for when the fighting and the fallout has settled, you must rebuild. Because that's going to be the big part of the game. But currently, you can pre-order the game all sorts of places. They had a collector's edition. It was the T-51 Power Armor edition. They also have a Tricentennial edition, I think, that you can pre-order. I think it just has a couple things extra. The T-51 Power Armor edition is $229. That's just US dollars. I don't really know about any of the other currencies that you can buy it in. It comes with a glow in the dark map, 24 figures that you can place on that map, a T-51 Power Armor helmet with an operational headlamp and voice modifier. That's probably the coolest part about it. I got the Pip-Boy edition of Fallout 4, and also I pre-ordered the T-51 Power Armor edition, so I'll probably actually do like an unboxing, which will be like the first video not in a game, that I'll do, because I probably won't do anything else sooner. I really want to start buying some of the other collectibles that they have available on the European store as well. But the game launches the 14th of November this year, which is pretty crazy. But it takes place in West Virginia. According to the NoClip documentary, it's going to take place in all of West Virginia, just kind of shrunk down to get as much as they could into it. It is very not dead. It's super overgrown. There's tons of plants and all sorts of stuff. Not quite as apocalyptic as most of the other Fallout games. 4 times the size of Fallout 4 map size. So that's pretty impressive. It's a pretty massive map. And they said 16 times the amount of details in this game. Being able to view distant weather systems across the map, so you might be able to see a radstorm coming in from a direction you know not to go that way that day in game. There's 6 different regions with different styles, risk, and rewards, and mountain ranges all across the game. It's a very vertical map. You start the game in Vault 76. Well, not necessarily start the game. The game, you leave Vault 76. It's one of the very first vaults opened. It opened in 2076 to celebrate America's tercentenary. 500 occupants were put inside the vault. And then 25 years later, the vault opened on Reclamation Day after the bombs dropped. So, yeah, 25 years after the bombs dropped. It takes place, again, October 2102, so 25 years after 2077 when the bombs dropped. There's tons of different locations in West Virginia to explore. I was looking at some of the maps that they showed. Vault-Tec University, Morgantown, Harper's Ferry they talked about. I imagine Point Pleasant because that has to do with one of the creatures. There's a hollowed-out mountaintop. There's going to be like a mining area, nuclear missile silos, crash space stations, ski resort that's called the Top of the World, Greenbrier Hotel where the president's bunker was, Helvetia, where it's like a German Swedish town, and they made some paper mache masks for like a festival, and there's 10 in total in the game, and then Charleston. So that's pretty much the setting of Fallout 76. I'm also going to talk about the gameplay. So we'll start with like the special skills and everything like that. So it seems like in this one it's going to be like perk cards. And to me it seems more random than really building a character, but you're still supposed to be able to specialize with groups. That's going to be really important when you're playing with other people, being able to specialize in certain categories of special and everything. You will also be able to re-roll and swap out perk cards when you level up. So you can specialize, it'll just take a little bit longer, and it's going to be a little bit harder to get exactly what you want. You can share perk cards within a party, trade perk cards with friends, and then in the NoClip documentary, it sounded like they were kind of hinting at possibly selling them at vendors. They said something about having a vendor in a game hub area, and then the project lead kind of got like shied away from that. And it sounds like a lot of the perks will have positive and negative sides to the perks. So the example that was given in the NoClip documentary was you might get a perk that gives you a big health boost, but you are more susceptible to diseases. So with talking about diseases, we'll just go ahead and get to the survival aspect of the game. Todd Howard said at E3 that it was more of a softcore survival, not quite as difficult as survival in other games, because they don't want it to be the main focus, but still a struggle of the game. So they want you to be able to do other things and not always worry. But they don't want you to get like comfortable. So there's thirst and hunger, but I imagine there probably will not be sleep deprivation like the other Fallouts, because there's not. I don't imagine there's going to be a real way to like sleep. Um, there's going to be rads, obviously, but in this game there's going to be mutations, which are going to be they're going to be like traits that are similar to like New Vegas or the examples they give, Fallout 1 and 2, where the trait can give you like a positive and a negative thing. And you can choose later to make it more permanent. You can make a mutation permanent, including visual and gameplay changes. So sometimes the mutations can change the way your character looks. Hoping for being able to be a ghoul. That would be cool to have a ghoul character. Gear degradation is going to return from the previous Fallouts. Also, food is going to begin rotting. That seems kind of crazy. You won't be able to like stockpile stuff quite as easily. They're also going to be bringing back diseases and illnesses, and there'll be new ones, it sounds like. More gameplay aspects. We'll talk about VATS. Obviously, is still in the game. It's going to be real time. You can still pick like targets and specific body parts, but you're just going to have to be a little bit snappier with your aim and movements, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult, it sounds like, because obviously it doesn't slow time or stop time like previous Fallouts. And you can actually build your character around VATS to make VATS easier for you, so that like if you have a combat-based character, you can base it around VATS. Other gameplay mechanics, stealth, something they touched on. There's a tweet that Fallout Twitter actually tweeted out saying that you're on the map at all times, yes, but as soon as you crouch, it engages stealth mode, and that it would quickly fade your dot from the compass completely, so that the person that you're fighting or whatever can no longer see you on the compass. So that's really, really nice, especially since it is going to be multiplayer. A huge thing for me and a lot of you guys, obviously, is the building of the game and crafting. So the main thing of the game is camp, so construction, assembly, mobile platform. From what they said in another tweet on the Fallout page, it was a video. The camp is destructible, but it's easy to fix and very cheap to build. They said it's pretty much like one click of a button. There is a new build mode, or build menu, I'm sorry. You can see it in all the trailers. Categories are across the top. Your options for the different items in that category are on the left side of the screen, and then you can see on the right side of the screen variant, the cost of the item you're trying to build, and workshop budget on the right side. Like I said, what it sounds like with variants is you'll be able to have different versions of the different things. So, for example, in the E3 conference, you can see that it go through the build menu. On cooking stations, it says 1 of 4, posters 6 of 41, electric chair 14 of 31, grill 1 of 3, bed 1 of 3, brick wall 4 of 5. And before you think that just means that there's multiple brick walls, on the left side of the screen it shows different brick walls, but on the brick wall with the window it says on the right side of the screen 4 of 5. So the reason I know that you can switch between it is because at the bottom of the screen on the different menu, like I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now. It says D-pad left and right to switch between variants. There's also an option at the bottom that says B to modify, but I don't know what modify can actually mean. I saw that in the NoClip documentary. I'm not sure what that means yet. Also, it looks like there's a new kind of crafting table. Fallout 76, during the showing at E3, there is 6 crafting tables under the crafting table section, when originally in Fallout 4 there's only 5, not including the Nuka Mixer from Nuka World. I believe that it's probably an ammo crafting table. It's kind of hard to tell, but who knows. But another thing in there was vending machine vendors. So that's something they talked about in the NoClip documentary, and you could see in the different build menus. That's something pretty interesting. You can also build with your friends. There's destructible builds, like you can destroy people's builds. Buildings will respawn when you spawn into a new game or you load in or whatever. That's pretty cool. And you can move them with you wherever you go. If you log in and someone's building in the location that you have built previously, you can place your camp someplace else, and then there will be a blueprint to automatically place what you had built someplace else very easily. There's also going to be public workshops, so you can claim for special resources. This is in the NoClip documentary as well. He says that you'll be able to claim it. For example, the example they give is lead. You can get lead from that public workshop to make bullets. And talking about making bullets, you'll be able to craft a lot of stuff in this game: mods, guns, ammo, food, water, armor, power armor pieces, all of that. And it sounds like more stuff from in the game. There's 63 total creatures in the game. New robots. The one that you could see in the trailer was the Liberators. There's frogs, ticks. They mentioned a 2-headed possum in the NoClip documentary. Intelligent plant life. So it sounds like that's going to be a threat in the game. There's some in Fallout 4, like Thistle can give you radiation. Flatwood monsters. Or Flatwoods monster, Grafton monster, Scorch Beast, Snallygaster, which is a really weird looking thing. You can see it in the NoClip documentary as well. Mothman, which is apparently going to be different than anything else. It's going to have stages to it. There's Sloth, there's the Scorched. They're feral ghouls, but they're not quite far enough gone. And they can still use guns, and they're still an enemy. They're kind of in place of raiders because they didn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense to have raiders. There's also super mutants and all previous games creatures with improvements. So new movements, reaction to multiple attackers, stuff like that. From what I could tell, there's 2 radio stations in the game: Appalachia Radio, Peacetime Radio. You can see that in the NoClip documentary. One of the biggest things that people are worried about in Fallout 76 is the multiplayer. It looks like there's going to be co-op up to 4 players. In the NoClip documentary, they said that it's adjustable currently, and it seems that they're not completely against more than 4, but that seems like where they're going to stick with. There's PvP in the game. They're still balancing incentives for PvP and also punishments. Sounds like they're going to be punishing people for, like, griefing or for killing other players. There's going to be a wanted system, from what it sounds like. Pete Hines confirmed in an interview after E3 that you cannot continuously attack or kill players. It seems like more of issuing a challenge is what he said, and that the game only lets it get so far, and that you can kind of tap out and they can't keep coming after you. Because Bethesda doesn't want griefing. They want the drama of like having these players nearby and there's a danger, but they don't want it to be like griefing, you know. And when you do get into those fights and you die, you respawn nearby. It's not... You don't lose any progress when you die to other players or anything like that. And then they also mentioned a deathmatch work in progress. That is still probably going to be... That's probably going to be post-launch more than anything. Other things with multiplayer are events like public workshop attacks and defenses, the nukes. So there's going to be nuclear bombs that you're going to be able to get codes for and launch on different areas of the map, and then that's going to be in-game kind of thing. It creates high-level areas. It destroys the world, destroys any settlements in that area, becomes rad-filled. But it does fade over time and reset. And what's awesome that I look forward to the most about the nukes is that there's different mutations with the flora and fauna depending on where you nuke. So if you nuke one area, it's not going to be the same if you nuke another area. Other things with multiplayer, or just other things in the game that are kind of interesting, is emote wheel is going to be in there so you can react to people. There's a photo mode, and that all sounds really interesting. With story, though, it sounds like there's going to be one main story, and it's to... from what it sounds like in the No-Clip documentary, you're going to use the nukes to seal Scorch Beast fissures and kill the Scorch Beast, and those are going to be kind of the big things of the game. And the Overseer is going to send you to the 6 different regions in the game to get those. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of found world quest that they mentioned in the No-Clip documentary. Terminals, holotapes, notes, etc., stuff like that. But there will be no human NPCs, so only robots is what it sounds like, which kind of makes sense because the nukes had just gone off 25 years earlier, so people kind of being in the wasteland like abundantly isn't going to make a whole lot of sense. None at all kind of sucks. Some ghouls and stuff would be cool, I guess. That's what the Scorch are supposed to be, but they're all feral. But Todd Howard said that they have a game. His quote exactly is, "We have a game more than any game that we've ever done where the choices are yours, where you'll decide what happens." He also mentioned, like, you decide who's the bad guy, who's the good guy, who dies, who lives, etc. So it sounds like a really good game so far. They are going to have microtransactions, but they confirmed that it will be cosmetics only. And everything that you can buy, you can earn in-game through gameplay. Talking about post-launch content from them, they said that they're going to add to the game constantly, and they want a long-term interaction between players and Bethesda. Mod support, eventually they said, it's going to be post-launch, unfortunately. Private worlds, eventually, which is also sounds like that's going to be probably similar time as the mod support, so players can have personal worlds with personal mods. It's just going to be an awesome game. They said most of the Maryland studio will move on to Starfield after the launch of this game. But Austin, their studio, will continue to work on free updates as often as possible. Small updates between big content updates on longer intervals. I'm really excited for this game. I'm really excited for what it's gonna be like to play with other people, and how that's gonna go. Right now, I have it pre-ordered for PS4. The main reason is I've got a lot of friends on PlayStation 4, but I do hope to be able to buy it on PC. I mean, I probably will buy it on PC shortly after it comes out. I just want it on launch. I feel like consoles are a little bit more reliable, especially when it comes to hackers or anything like that. I don't want to get in the game and then have someone just nuked the shit out of me at the very beginning because they cheat or something like that, and just make it unplayable, because that's a thing that happens on PC games. And I probably will wait until more of the private world stuff comes out to move over to PC. But that is kind of the plan right now. I do want to move, mostly to PC to do Fallout 4 building. I will continue to do Fallout 4 building, by the way, until Fallout 76 comes out. And if Fallout 76 isn't quite doing what I want when it comes to building, I'll go back to Fallout 4. Especially if I move over to PC. That's definitely going to be a very easy thing for me to do. Um, but hopefully you guys are excited for the game. I'm super excited. This is like an unbelievable thing. People are just bitching as much as they can about this game coming out. And it's another Fallout game as big as it is in the same decade. It was 3 years ago Fallout 4 came out, and we're going to get another game. Like, I can't comprehend just the frustration that people have towards Bethesda for making an online game. It's going to be great no matter what. And that's kind of sounds like I'm just like feeding into them blindly, I guess, but it's going to be another game that I can enjoy. And you don't necessarily have to, but I'm going to enjoy it just so much. And I already know that I'm going to. From what I've seen, it's gonna. It looks like it's pretty similar to Fallout 4 mechanics wise, with some new things, new additions. Building, that's gonna be the most frustrating part probably, is the destruction. I'm not excited for that at all. I'm hoping that I can just build and kind of be left alone. And I think it's going to probably give new life to the channel more than anything. I'm really hoping for that. Because Fallout 4 is just kind of broken. I got a PlayStation 4 Pro hoping that would help. And it helped a little bit. I've been working on Jamaica Plains. And I started getting the issues again with my game not wanting to save. I have finished it. I finished Jamaica Plains because I just decided to not shut off my PlayStation 4 until I was finished with it, and then I loaded back in. Or then I eventually shut it off, and the whole sediment was gone except for like one of the first builds. But that'll be out here soon. Sorry that this was 30 minutes. I tried to talk as fast as I could about all the different things in the game. I have a notepad open on this other screen that I have on my computer, and I'm just trying to. I wrote down all the information that I could from the different sources that'll be in the description. But if I missed anything, let me know. If there's anything that you guys want to hear more about, or if you guys want to talk about, I'll talk to you guys in the comments. But yeah, I'm excited for this game. Hopefully you guys are too. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.